Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone out there is doing great and that you're all having a wonderful day. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. It helps out the channel and it's a free way to do stuff. I don't really know. If somebody gave you $5 million right now, somebody hands you $5 million, what would you do with it? Because I'm pretty sure I know exactly what I would. That's a pretty easy one for me, but it's always interesting hearing. I've proposed that question before to a number of friends and gotten some very interesting answers. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. There is a digital cloud hanging over our heads, and not in a negative way. It's just more of it seems omnipresent at this point. We are hearing about this thing every single day. There is, for whatever the reason might be, a gigantic amount of fascination surrounding Ethereum right now. I can kind of understand it, but also, I mean, completely out of nowhere, Ethereum has seemingly captured the hearts and the minds of a multitude of people within this market who are of the opinion that Ethereum is going to actually bring the entire cryptocurrency market to brand new heights. I am personally waiting to see if this actually ends up being a thing this year. Of course, Ethereum will go up. Altcoins will follow. But I wonder if we're going to hit all these fantastic numbers that a lot of people have constantly been quoting us over the course of the last few weeks. Market strategy and research firm called Fundstrat have said that Ether will be the biggest macro trade over the next 10 years, as they have predicted that Ether may rally to as much as 15,000 US dollars by the end of this year. Yes, my friends, as I've stated many different times, it is quite fascinating to see the amount of companies and analyzers who are all coming up with the exact same numbers. However, flippening news is once again in vogue. It's constantly in trend. It's something that everyone's talking about. People believe, and I'll tell you exactly who, but I mean, it makes sense, but also I'll tell you who, believe that Ethereum is going to do so well that it's going to be like the token to hold as opposed to Bitcoin. I would dare say hold your horses, but you know. It says, and I quote, ETH is arguably the biggest macro trade for the next 10 to 15 years as AI creates a token economy on the blockchain and as Wall Street financializes on the blockchain. This was said by Fundstrat Capital Chief Information Officer Thomas Lee on Wednesday. For those of you who got what I was saying but also didn't got it, it has been rumored, and I guess all but we know what's going to happen. A lot of companies and institutions, for some reason this year, are salivating over the idea of stablecoins. They all believe, hope, wish, and pray that they can become as, if not more, successful than Tether. Tether does trillions of dollars worth of transactions on their chain monthly. So of course, I mean, realistically, if someone's doing $1 trillion, other people are greedy enough to want a slice of that pie. The idea is that with the Genius Act, the Stablecoin Act, the Beyonce Act, and everything else that was pushed through over the last couple of months, It basically kicks open, wide open the doorway for banks to be able to create stablecoins. And so saith the Thomas Lees and otherwise who have connections to these companies. Apparently, one of the major places they're going to do it is on top of Ethereum. This is why you keep hearing all these high prices. It has to do with if Tether's doing really well on top of Ether and many other chains, what have you, we are going to see a tremendous amount of money flowing into the Ethereum ecosystem, burning more coins. And we have heard as well that the companies, institutions, banks looking to create stable coins on top of Ether are apparently also logically buying large amounts of Ether as well. There's two reasons for this. One has to do with staking. If you are a company who's going to be making hundreds of millions of dollars just from transaction fees, even if they're 1 cent from said stablecoin, well, you're going to make sure that you also protect your investment by being able to actually buy some of the asset, because the more you buy of Ether, obviously the more you own, the more you control, and you are staking it, creating passive income from the staking. And that's an extra source of income. And the more Ether that is staked, the more protected and secure the network. This is the same for many POS, proof of stake, different coins. The idea is you claim your stake in the network. You put your coins in, you wrap it into the network, and you basically get passive income as like a thank you for securing the network. But this time it's a little bit different because they want to definitely make sure that Ethereum is like airtight, securing their position in the network, in the market, passive income, hundreds of millions of dollars from staking it and also from the coins as well. So this is where all of this energy is coming from. And then you also have a number of companies who are like, hey, if the banks are doing it, we should be doing the exact same thing. And it's not $1 million worth of Ether. These companies are buying $3 billion at a single time. The head of digital asset research for Fundstrat, named Sean Farrell, I'm going to say Farrell, said ETH could go as high as 12,000 to 15,000 US dollars by year end. So there is still plenty of upside. We have constantly, incessantly heard between 10 to 15,000, 10 to 15,000, 12,000, 10 to 12 to 15 and a half. Always, for a very long time, that has been kind of the aiming point, if you will, for Ether. It's where a lot of people believe we are going this cycle. We spoke about that earlier, even before summertime. And I was saying if that does happen, the other altcoins are going to do a good 5, 10 to 15x. We've seen this before with Ethereum going from 1,000 to 4,000. Other coins greatly outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum. If we get to a 15,000, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of capital that has to actually hit Ether, the market, the market's going to flood with money instantaneously. It's going to get quite dramatic if we actually end up hitting these numbers. Lee was echoing his comments in a company research bulletin on Wednesday, where he explained that the Wall Street push will be spurred by the Genius Act stablecoin regulations and the US SEC's what they're calling Project Crypto, which aims to modernize the agency for the digital finance age. We've heard some stuff from the SEC. Excuse if I still have some skepticism in my bones because of the last 15 years of the SEC being corrupt monsters. However, they're claiming that things are going to be a lot easier for ETFs. They're going to be a lot easier regarding what an exchange can and cannot do, which coins are going to be deemed securities. the whole shebang. So with all these things lined up, it should then be a lot easier for institutions to kind of mosey their way into the space. But a lot of them, I mean, we're talking about like world banks, have basically announced their intentions to get into the space, to create a stablecoin, no longer using the scary term central bank digital currency. And we're expecting a lot of that capital to flow into Ethereum. Lee said the majority of stablecoins and Wall Street projects are being built on Ethereum. The Ethereum network currently has 55% of the market share of the $25 billion of real world asset tokenization. Yes, that's also another big thing. Do not forget, we are in the future, but we're also at the beginning of what is widely intended to be the digitization of everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. Not taking a photo of your phone and going digitized. No, they're planning on putting anything with value onto a blockchain, not physically squeezing it into a computer, kind of like the deed for a home, or a contract that says 10 people own this home. It is their goal that anything with value will be digitized in this way on chain, basically allowing people to be able to invest in this. So let's say a bank and another company, they own 50,000 properties. Random idea, but let's say it. And at some point they, digitally put them onto the thing, not in like a metaverse way, but like literally like the valuation of that home and the ownership is simply on a blockchain. They begin to sell them, but similar as they would also be NFTs. NFTs, for those of you who don't know, is just a form of provenance. It just says and declares that something is on chain that doesn't look like something else. It's whatever. We're not going to get into it. So basically, if the bank maintained majority ownership of said home or item and they sold 49% of it, the rest of it on chain, as that housing, as the portions of that continue to change hand over the years, the bank would, of course, make their money from holding the actual NFT and other things that come from it. But it would also dystopianly allow people to actually own property. That's another thing that the world is going to have to grapple with. And I told you all before, should any of you at any point decide to take profit, what have you, from the market, if need be, please purchase something first that produces income or that is property, whether that you can live in or that you can rent out. Property is it's not a hot commodity, it's an almost gone commodity around the world. Normal people cannot afford homes now, and that will only increase in the future. If you didn't see, this is becoming a big thing in Dubai. We had news a couple of months ago about these like tokenization projects. Like they're beginning in many different places, but the big ones will come from Wall Street firms and will come from like world banks and, these larger institutions. We're basically in the future, the way to own a home or a fraction of it will be to own 1/25th of a home. Somebody will, place a property online for $1 million, $500,000. The average person cannot afford 1/100th of a Bitcoin. So people will simply begin to start buying fractions of these homes, and that will be the future of actual home ownership. So actually having an entire property to yourself, you will be considered wealthy. I don't know if I ever told you the story before. Years ago when I was younger and I was studying in France. I remember I met this girl and long story. Anyway, we were sitting by the river and we were talking about property. There's like a nice island in the center of Paris called Île-de-France, or Île de la Cité, pardon. And we were talking about it, and she said that her grandfather actually owned, past tense, a property on there. And I was like, what? And she said she remembers running around as a kid. The property was 200 meters squared, around 2,000 square feet. It was a gigantic apartment overlooking the river. And sometime in the 80s, he got a little bored and was like, I don't want it anymore, and sold it. And she was like, it would have passed on to her because she was the only child. And she was like, that property would be worth 4, 5, 6, 7, multiple millions at this point. And then I was telling her, I said, it's so crazy because even now in Paris, the idea of owning, something that's 11 meters squared. Really, like actually 100 square feet is like impossible for the majority of people living in Paris. So you go from a 200 meters square apartment to something that's 10 meters squared. They have the same kind of like appeal. Wow, you own property. So we've gone from the point where in the 60s and 70s, you could buy a huge gigantic house, 15, 20,000. That then became like, okay, you can buy an apartment for 20,000. 20,000 gets you nothing now. It gets you absolutely nothing. So in the future, as Wall Street, as these companies continue to buy up large amounts of real estate and land and every other asset that's out there, that also ties into the idea of like, 15 years ago, buying one Bitcoin was nothing. It was like $7. You get to the point where Bitcoin's at 700. You're like, okay, it's getting there. Bitcoin goes to 7,000. All right, I'm gonna try and buy some of it. I don't have 7,000 in the bank account. Bitcoin's at 150,000. Who can afford that? You'll look at celebrities and other rich people. Oh, of course, people can afford that. Yeah, a very small sliver of people can afford it. Remember the thing we had a couple of days ago where that guy was in one of the videos. He was like, all you need to own is 0.01 Bitcoin. He's like, you're not getting how rare this thing actually is. So as time goes on and as assets become more expensive and they become rarer, this is this idea, This is why I told you before, use your own mind, if you will. If you don't want to own property, sure. However, it is going to become incredibly rare to actually own property. I'm trying to warn you right now, similar to how I told you about crypto all these years ago. So here's the actual chart right here. The majority of things happening within this sector are currently on Ethereum. In second place is Tron. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to be very nice and just simply move on. Third is Solana. Then you have Arbitrum, Binance Smart Chain, and then many other things within here as well. But this chart is going to look dramatically different in the next 10 to 15 years. We are, my friends, at the point where everyone is barreling, throwing themselves into this market. It is going to be quite advantageous for those of you who are in crypto. I know many times it can and is frustrating trying to get friends and family and others into this market, trying to tell them what's going on, trying to get them to understand. The best you can do at that point is just work on yourself. Make sure to keep your head down. You make the money, you become rich. They will learn. They're going to be the late adopters within this space. Take advantage of the time that you have of being early in this market before it becomes commonplace to tokenize things on these chains or to buy things through the bank that are tokenized. Understand that this market has a long way to grow, and you are still at the very beginning of it. Right. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting on the video, and supporting the channel in your own way, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.